7th grade math students, and welcome to this week's math lesson. Let's go ahead and take out your math notebooks and open to a clean sheet, name and today's date. Let's go ahead and copy down our objective today. I can find the original amount given a new amount after a given percent increases or decreases. Previously, we've looked at converting percentages. We've looked at finding parts and wholes. Now comes the real meat of why we're learning this. And that is to calculate things like percent increase and percent decrease. In life, if you're buying food, buying a home, buying whatever you want on this planet, you will have things like percent increase or decrease. Saying, for example, you put money into a bank account. Over time, that money increases and you gain more money for the amount of time your money sits in your account. However, if you go to a clothing store, let's say Black Friday, where they have 50 to 70% off a certain item, that's called a percentage decrease. So, fun fact is you can actually calculate how to figure this out. So let's say, for example, going back to our previous comment I said about bank account, let's say hypothetically that you say you have about $220 in your bank account. And let's say there's a 30% increase in your bank account. And you want to figure out how much money that increases by. Well, let's say with 30%. How would you figure that out? Well, in your notebooks, aside from copying down your objective today, I also want you to copy down these two formulas, percent increase and percent decrease. When you have an increase, like for example, it increased by 30%, we know we're going to find a percent increase. Why? Because we're going up. In order to figure that out, we're going to use our first formula. We're going to take our base percentage here of 30%, and we are going to then add it to 100%. Why? Because 100% is our base value we're going to go off of, 100%. So in doing that, 30 plus 100%, we get 130%. Now, what we're going to do with this percentage is we are now going to multiply it by 220. However, we have a problem. And what is that problem in 7th grade? That's correct. We just can't willy-nilly calculate percentages by multiplying it into amounts. It doesn't work like that. We have to convert it. So we have to make it into what? That's right, a decimal. So again, like we've talked about before, when converting decimals, you either move the decimal place 2 places to the right, or you divide by 100. So 130% would just be 1.3. So now, taking our base value of 220, we are going to multiply that by 1.3. When we do that, and we take 220, and we multiply it by 1.3, we end up with the 30% increase we now have in our bank account, $286. As the saying goes, putting money away for a rainy day often yields high profits. But let's say, hypothetically, let's say that this was not the case. And let's say you went shopping. Who doesn't like shopping? Especially hopefully with the restrictions, we'll have at least some opportunities to go out and shop. Let's say we're out, and let's say you want to let's buy a sweater. Sweaters are expensive. Sweaters are, depending on what kind of brand you get, name brand, stuff like that. Let's say we have an $80 sweater. And let's say that sweater, though, at the store we're at, is offering it at 25% off. So my question to you is this: are we increasing or decreasing? That's correct. We are decreasing now this time. So unlike before, where we took our percentage and added it to 100, we're now going to subtract it from 100. When we do that, 100 minus 25 will give me, any guesses? That's correct. 75%. Now again, what is 75% as a decimal? That's correct. In converting it, we get 7.5. That is correct. Now, we're not done yet, because now we need to take 7.5 and multiply it to 80. So when we do that, or actually, my apologies, not 0.75, it's actually 0.75. My mistake there. Because, and even Mr. Kale makes mistakes, we have to convert it to a decimal, so move to the left 2 places, which will end up with 0.75. 0.75 times 80 will give me a discount value of $60. So going from our sweater, which is $80, we now have a sweater that is $60. All right. Let's do one more, and we'll do a toss-up here. Let's look at another decreasing problem. So, let's say on our shopping spree, aside from a sweater, we also buy a TV. Who doesn't like TV? And the TV is $220. It's a real inexpensive TV. But they have a discount. They have a discount of 30% off. So again, let's calculate that percent decrease. So if we take 100% and we minus it by 30, we end up with 70%. And if we convert 70% to a decimal, we end up with 0.7 as our decimal. Taking 0.7, we're going to multiply it now to 220. When we do that, 220 times 0.7, we end up with a discount for our TV. The total price will be $154. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our exit slip, shall we? And I'll keep our vocabulary up there for you. Let's say we have to write an English paper. And let's say we have to write, because when you do get into high school, you will be asked to write a certain number of words for your essay. Let's say we have to write 1,644 words. However, previously, let's say in my class, you had to write 25% less words than that. How many words would that be? Or what would be the decrease in the number of words you were asked to write? I'll go ahead and give you a minute to pause it in this video. We can go ahead and solve this. All right, let's go ahead and solve it, shall we? Are we using percent increase or decrease? Decrease, right? Because it is less. Very good. So, once again, 100 minus 25, which is what? 75, right, so we get 75%. What is 75% as a decimal? 0.75, you are correct. 7th grade, you are on a roll. So, we take 0.75, multiply it by 1,644 words. And we end up with, in my class, having to write 1,233 words for your paragraphs, which is a lot of words. Your homework tonight will be posted in Google Classroom. Join me next time when we'll be delving more into percent increase and decrease. Stay tuned.